Chapter 6 The Deliverance Ministry. About 4 months had passed since that night. 6 more families who were born again Christians had moved to town. The church had outgrown the small storefront, so we moved into a real church building that seated about 500 people. It seemed empty, but I knew that one day the Lord would fill it. One Sunday in our new church, the choir was singing when a young couple walked in with their 3 children. It was Bill and Betty. They seemed very interested in the pastor's preaching. Bill and Betty had a little girl named Debbie who was 6 years old. Debbie was getting nervous when the preaching began. I noticed that Bill was trying to keep her in her seat. I was an usher and offered to help him. He thanked me, but he said that he could handle it. I felt bad and I wondered if I embarrassed him. The couple stood until the end of service, but I knew they missed most of the preaching because of Debbie. I asked Bill for his phone number and his address that I might pay him a visit. He gave me the information. I told him that I would see him in a few days. A few days later, my wife and I went to Bill's house. They were very nice and welcomed us into their home. They gave us coffee and cakes. Bill and Betty were not Christians, but they were very interested. I shared some scriptures with them and got to know them a little better. Bill seemed to feel a little bit more comfortable with me. He told me that Debbie was an epileptic, which is why he told me in church that he could handle her. He said that he could tell when a seizure was coming, and that is why he needed to keep her near them. More people were coming to the new church. I was very busy ushering, but I noticed that Bill and Betty kept coming every Sunday. They got more comfortable in church. And I got to know Debbie better. Debbie was able to walk around freely in the church now. The pastor's wife had a Sunday school class in the basement of the church. Debbie was attending the Sunday school classes and was getting along fine with all the other children. Part of the usher's job was to check on the children and help Mrs. McLean with them. I was ushering upstairs in church when one of the ushers came and told me to hurry downstairs because there was a problem. The usher was white as a ghost, and he told me that something terrible had happened to Debbie, and to please hurry up. When I got downstairs, Debbie was on the floor. Hovering over her were 2 ushers, Mrs. McLean and Mrs. McLean. It looked like she had had a seizure. When I got closer, she had a very strange look on her face. She started cursing and screaming. She was also jumping up and down. The ushers had to hold her down. I told one of the ushers to go and call her father Bill. When Bill got downstairs, he saw the scene, but he wasn't that surprised. I looked at Bill, and he looked right back at me. The Holy Spirit had already told me that she had a demon in her. I asked Bill, "What should we do?" Bill looked at me and told me to do what I needed to do. We sent the rest of the children upstairs. Mrs. McLean left also. I was alone with the girl and the other ushers. Bill was off in another room. The ushers with me had no previous experience, so they just listened as I told them what to do. We began praying and asking the Holy Spirit to help us and guide us. The congregation had no idea what was going on downstairs. I was afraid that someone might come down and accidentally. So I posted one of the ushers at the door.